Hello, everybody. This is Dr. Majorca, and I'm back. And about a week or so ago, when we had that catastrophe in Kerrville of the floods, I did a couple of videos, one called The Blame Game, and the other one was Vicarious Trauma. And I stated that I would come back and do another tape called Survivor's Guilt. And it's important that we recognize that people will experience survivor guilt, even if they uh, are working toward closure, even if they say that they're doing okay, it inadvertently will arise. Now, when we talk about survivor guilt, what is it? What's the definition? It's when somebody survives a disaster or catastrophe or flood or tornado or any kind of catastrophic situation. They survive and the people that they love or people that they know do not. And they begin to wonder, why them? Why did they survive? And their friend, their husband, their wife, their children did not. And it's an intense situation. And it begins to affect their ability to function or to deal with life on a daily basis. And it can it's a serious situation when people have what we call survivor guilt, and and I would venture to say, and that's one of the reasons that I'm doing the tape now, is that is probably beginning to occur or is already occurring for the people that survived the flood or survived the flooding in North Carolina, or survived the tornadoes that we've had recently, or survived the fires, even if they didn't lose someone, but somebody that they love or someone that they know lost everything. And this person who has experienced survivor guilt did not experience any loss, neither of a family member or a friend or their house or their car or anything like that. And it can result in a tremendous amount of negative emotions, and it can also show itself up as PTSD symptoms. So we need to be cognizant that this is occurring. And generally, when something like this occurs, when somebody is experiencing survival guilt, they begin to do a lot of reflection. They begin to think about, well, what's my purpose? If I survived, what is it that I am not doing, or I need to think about, or I need to do? And a lot of times, what you'll see, and I've seen this, for example, with students at a high school where a classmate is lost through violence on campus. They will come together and create some kind of a memorial. They'll plant a tree. They'll put up a sign, a plaque, because the goal is not to allow anyone or anyone themselves included to forget about this person and that their life had meaning. And what do we do when we're experiencing survival guilt? Number one, we need to recognize that that's what we're experiencing. And number two, we need to seek help. We need to ask for support. We have to be aware of the symptoms that will arise when we have survival guilt. That can be, we can have flashbacks. We can have guilt. We can have shame that we are still living. We'll review our lives and think, I haven't done anything. I I'm not as important as this person that perished. They'll have, like I said, nightmares, PTSD symptoms, high anxiety, depression, tremendous amount of grief, tremendous amount of sadness, a sense of needing to do something to make themselves worthy of continuing to live while somebody that they thought was this amazing person is no longer around. And so this is not a huge video that I wanted to do, but I did want to talk about the fact that anyone that helps during a disaster may or could experience survival guilt simply because they're watching everything that's going on and wondering how come it didn't happen to them, or they're very fortunate or glad that it didn't happen to them, and then they feel guilty that they're thinking that way. I'm glad it wasn't me. And this is just human nature. uh, a lot of times we hear about tornadoes where a tornado comes through the town and one person's house isn't touched and the next door neighbor loses everything, or they're injured or anything like that. So I think it's important that we recognize that there are going to be family members, and there's going to be friends, and there's going to be acquaintances that are going to be experiencing what goes along with survival guilt and not be aware that it's survival guilt. And the most important thing to recognize is talking to someone. And again, like I've mentioned, people will determine that they have to have a purpose. And so they'll become very reflective, or they might leave the job that they're doing because now they don't think it's really fulfilling their capacity. And so they want to do something to make an impact, to leave an impact, like these people, that the people that have perished might have left an impact or have left an impact. You'll see family members developing organizations, some kind of a memorial that will focus on that person that was lost, was whatever it is that they were interested in. And I think that at this point, we've read and seen so much of um, different people talking about the people that have been lost and what they were interested in, what they hoped to accomplish, how they wanted their lives to go. Some were studying to be educators, some were studying to be nurses, some were studying just graduating from high school. And so a young life lost so quickly, and we lost very young children also in this situation. We lost adults, we lost grandparents, we lost children, we lost teenagers. So there's a lot of emotion about this right now. And we may be saying that we're feeling okay, and in reality, we're not. And we are experiencing survival guilt. And it can go through association. Say, for example, someone is there, a responder, a rescuer, they'll begin to experience that, and then they'll share it with somebody, and then that person will experience it too. It's a kind of a domino effect, because everybody thinks, what if that had been me? Or what am I doing with my life? uh, is it making an impact? What do I need to do? What can we do to remember that person? Because the loss was so, a loss is a loss is a loss. It's very, very intense. So it's very important to think about this. And, as experiencing survival guilt is not just because we've seen the loss of someone. Let's say I have a catastrophic event with my health and I survive. And I wonder how come I survived. I can have survival guilt also. And I'll wonder if I'm doing the best that I can with my life. And I will begin to examine my life. I think that's when you see people leave their job, go on some kind of a retreat, going to examine what they've done up to this point in their life, simply because they had what I call an epiphany. Uh, I'm just going along in my life and not doing much of anything, and then this happens, and I'm still here. I wonder why. And so they'll begin to experience some survival guilt. It's not just about watching yourself lose someone and then wonder how come, but it can happen to you when you have a catastrophic event in your life. So it's important again to think about these things whenever we have the kind of situation that is occurring now and continues to occur. We had the flooding in Kerrville, and then this week we've had flooding in other areas, and it is affecting people. They are losing their homes, they are losing their livelihood. And so uh, some people are what I call more resilient. They will deal with a catastrophic situation and come out at the other end more sensitive, more compassionate, but not experiencing survival guilt. But there are people that are more apt to have issues with survival guilt. And some of the issues or some of the reasons could be if you have a history of trauma yourself, you'll have more of a propensity to experience survival guilt. If you have a history of depression, if you have a level of low self esteem, if you don't have a good support system, or you have poor coping skills, you are more apt to experience survival guilt. So, this little video is just simply to help you understand and recognize, could you possibly be experiencing survival guilt, and the importance of seeking help. Right now, what's occurring out in the community is that there are a lot of counselors, including myself, who are offering their services uh, pro bono, no charge, to anybody that is wanting to see someone to process what they've experienced, be it a first responder or somebody that's rescuing, somebody that saw it and is trapped in that emotional upheaval of replaying over and over again in their mind where they saw either RVs float away or human persons float away and unable to do anything. They may be experiencing survival guilt or anger and guilt that they weren't able to do something about it. So, again, my videos are about awareness and understanding and information. I try to give information that is factual, that research out there has indicated and shown that these are things that we need to be aware of so that we can live our life to the fullest in the healthiest possible way psychologically, um, and be supportive of those that come and want to create some kind of a plaque, some kind of a something that will indicate that this person was on this earth. And you're going to see a lot of that. You're already seeing a lot of people gathering and doing memorials. Um, it it's not only for themselves, but it's for society to come together and to honor those that we've lost. So I hope that you enjoyed this video. Again, it's about survival guilt and what can we do, and what is it, and the importance of recognizing. So I hope that you enjoy this video, and if so, please feel free to follow me because I will continue to do videos on topics that I believe are important and that will help us maintain a healthy psychological perspective in our daily lives. Thank you.